All right, everybody. Well, it's late night, almost Monday morning at midnight, and I just wanted to say hey to everybody. I'm on my laptop again. Um, I've got some stuff rendering down on the other computer that I normally use that has a better webcam, but it is what it is. Look, I know a lot of you, want to see different things from me, and I love to see your comments. I try to reply to everybody I can, and the fact is this: I don't know if I'm going to have a future in vlogging on YouTube. I think I'm better suited in front of the camera than I am, in the back scenes. But I do my job and I do it well. And I just really want to thank everybody that's been supporting me here lately. I've lost a few subscribers, but that's fine. That's going to happen through attrition. And I just want to remind everybody that it is an open, forum here. That if you have questions, if you have needs, wants, things you want to talk about, please leave comments and video comments in the section below. Never gonna, force anybody to like and subscribe. I can say that just like everybody else, but you know what? YouTube's been around long enough that if people like you, they're going to like you. If they're going to subscribe to you, they're going to subscribe to you. I'm not going to sit there and at the end of every one of my videos say like and subscribe me. So just know that, okay? If you want to, it's there. It's just that simple. I would really appreciate it, but I'm not going to force anybody, and I'm not going to sit there and remind everybody every single video that I do. If I happen to bring it up, it's because it's been a while or whatever. The fact of the matter is that I really enjoy vlogging. I really enjoy having the opportunity to speak to people and talk about either current events or if people are having problems with certain things. Like there was a guy tonight. I didn't get his name. He was at a place where we play Beat the Geek Trivia, which if you want to go to that website, you can. It's beatthegeektrivia.com. You can also find him on Facebook. The creator of it is a good friend of mine. His name's Mark. And one of his hosts is a good friend of mine. Her name's Kate. She just got married. But at the place we were at the Horseshoe Saloon, and we were participating in their game. And there was a young gentleman there, I'd say in his mid-20s. And he was out having a cigarette, and so I went out and I was just out there talking to him, and he wasn't having a very good day. And I asked him why. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that sometimes all it takes is somebody to engage somebody else to help them clear their mind. He was obviously distraught, wasn't quite, wanting to be there, but he knew that, he needed to kind of wind down. So that's why he was at the bar. Not a very wise decision in my thinking. Typically I don't drink when I go to the bar. I only have like a soda or water or whatever, maybe a beer if it's socially acceptable to have it, depending on who else is drinking and whatever. But I had dinner there with my wife, and then there's a gentleman there. I didn't get his name, but he was a father, and his wife, who was pregnant, going to have his kid like in 2 days, I guess. She'd thrown him out like 2 weeks ago, and he was a little upset about it. He was a little bit about it, and I can understand being a father and being in that situation myself. And so I understood where he was coming from, but the questions you have to ask yourself are the hard ones. And he started out, well, she threw me out. Well, why? Why did she not want you around, especially during this time where she's very vulnerable? She doesn't have probably the income to support 2 kids, especially one that's on the way, and go through this pregnancy by herself. It's just, what did he do that was so bad? And I had to ask him, what were you thinking at the time that she asked you to leave? I mean, obviously you were probably upset. And he's like, yeah, I was upset. And but did you stop and think of what got her to this point after being pregnant basically the whole 9 months and having a kid with you before and being married to you for so many years? Where did the breakdown of communication happen? Why is she not happy? Now, he came out and she says, well, she's crazy. And he even said that all women are crazy. And I was like, well, women can get crazy, but not all women are crazy. I told him that men make women crazy. And if you're a lesbian, I guess your woman would make you crazy. But the fact is that men and women are only compatible to the point in which they are able to assimilate their thoughts to one another in a cohesive pattern. If a relationship that you're having with somebody isn't in balance, if there's not give and take on both sides, then there's a lack of structure that is going to be able to support your relationship. I try to communicate with my wife as much as possible. We actually are pretty in tune to one another, so if I'm thinking about something, she usually brings it up because she knows that I'm thinking about something, and she usually thinks the same way I do when we're in that situation. Or I'll finish her sentences or something like that she's thinking exactly the same way. Like I'll say, hey, I'm going to go pick this up at the store. And she's like, it's exactly what I wanted to have for dinner. Stuff like that. Little things. The thing that this gentleman had is definitely he was upset at the fact that his wife would take this drastic a measure to basically open his eyes, but he wasn't looking at it that way. He's like, well, she's crazy, she threw me out, what the hell is she thinking? Well, that's your job to figure out. That's your job to ask the right questions so that she feels that you're asking the questions so that you want to know how to create an atmosphere where she can honestly come to you and you can correct the problems that she's having. She's not asking you to get out because she just wants you out. She wants you to get out so that you can have time to think about what you've not done for her or him, whatever the situation may be. I mean, it could go the other way as well. A lot of it comes down to maturity. The more mature and logical that you are in addressing the situation, the key thing is you got to stay calm. I know you're going to be upset. There's certain things that people say that get you upset, but you've got to have thick skin. You've got to say, okay, why is she coming at me this way? Where did the breakdown in my communication skills happen? If she's not hearing me, it's maybe because I'm not presenting myself in a manner that she wants to receive the information in. So I told him, look, you've got to figure out this. First of all, whether or not you want to stay with her. I mean, it was his high school sweetheart, he said. It's like, so you guys have been together for a while? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so here's this. Do you love her? Do you want to continue a relationship with a person that you said you did when you got married, but do you feel that you as a person can coexist with this person in a loving relationship? Yes or no? It's pretty simple. Either you do, or I kind of do, I like this part. No, it's either good and bad, you taking it all in, and you love this person, whatever happens, or it's no, I don't want to deal with this shit, I want to move on. Okay? There's nothing wrong with moving on. In some cases, it's probably a very good, it works out for both parties, because it's obviously something that he's missing in his makeup that she's not getting, that she might be able to find in someone else. And it's better to figure it out and address that situation as early as possible so that years and years and years don't get invested into a relationship that isn't going to work. But both of you have to be mature enough to be able to identify these issues. Now, you young people out there, I know that there's a lot of young people out there that don't have girlfriends or you're not in relationships. And sorry about that. My screen goes dark and then I don't have any kind of lighting. So the thing is this. If you have a relationship with somebody, it's for good or bad. It's just like the wedding vows say, in sickness and health, in good times and bad times. Whether you're rich or you're not, you're in it together. You were a team. And there's no I in team. Now, there comes times where you need to take some me time. All right? You have to take time for yourself to clear out all the bullshit that you've gathered up in a relationship. There's going to be lots of it, okay? And you're going to take it in, but you have to set aside some time for you to deprogram some of it, to get all the trash and the emotions out of the way, so that you can come back to a healthier, more responsive relationship with that person. My first relationship didn't work out. I got thrown out on Thanksgiving Day with my 2 kids, and my parents were there. Do you think that I held some resentment for that? Hell yes. I stewed about that for a long time. But you know what? For 6 years, I tried to get back in a relationship with this person that I didn't realize wasn't good for me until after the fact. It wasn't until she was so at the point that she wanted me back, but at that point, I did not want her back. So she waited too long. But you know what? It worked out. I met my wife. We've been together now 11 years. 10 of it will be married this next week. And a 10-year anniversary for me, if I would have thought about that, it's something that I've always wanted. I've wanted to be the dad. I've always wanted to be a family man. And that comes from my upbringing, where I've had my mom and dad with me, and I've seen what my parents do for their children, and I know my parents, and I talk to my mom and dad, and I care about my mom and dad, and they care about us kids. I've got me and my sister. They're the only 2 kids that they ever had. And, here's my mom and dad living their life. They're struggling by, and now they're older to the point to where they're barely scraping by, And I feel bad because I'm not at the point to where I can help them as much more as I can now. I mean, I can give them time to go, like I pick them up because they don't have a car right now because my mom was in an accident. So I'll go and I'll pick them up and take them to doctor's appointments or to the food bank because they don't make enough money on their own to support all of their needs. Pretty much what my dad makes on Social Security covers like all the basic necessities except for food. My mom's paycheck pays for all the other bills that they may have, but the good thing is that they're almost debt-free. They have a very small amount of medical debt that my dad has accrued. My mom works for a school district, so she has a steady job, but it's not full-time. She gets as many hours as she can, but it's just not enough. And so, the alternative is either you go hungry or you go to the food bank because you qualify for it. You're not making enough money. Me personally, I've been on the food bank before. I've been on food stamps before. This last time, I chose not to go on food stamps and just struggled through it, doing whatever I could to make money, doing whatever I could to support my family, even though I may have been unemployed. So all that wrapped up into what it is, I have this experience, and I'm trying to share it with this young man. And, the first thing that I had to ask him is, like, do you love her? That's a key element in your decision making. Are you just with them because you have kids? If that's the case, that's not a good relationship. If you do not love the person you're with, all right, first of all, you shouldn't be sticking your dick in her. All right? But because you did and you have these children now, the number one responsibility that you have is not only to yourself, but is to those children. Those children have to be given first priority. All right? You took the time to make them. You need to make them right. Regardless to if you're in the picture with their mom or not. That has no bearing on whether your children get the love and the care that they need from a father, all right, or a mother. It doesn't matter. I mean, in today's society, people tend to dwell and only feed on the negative because it's easy to assimilate. It's easy to want to hate something or to think something's evil or to think something's, messed up. It's much harder to see the good in people, Now, there's people that, I was talking about before, the panhandlers. There's probably good things about them, all right? But the way that they present themselves, I really don't want to take the time to try to get to know these people for what their actions are on the streets. All right? If you're not willing to go out and hunt for work in a real job and to take the time. I mean, if standing on a street corner and begging for money is not a job. It's an existence, but it's not a job. Okay? I created my own job. I created my own existence from what I know. And it makes me feel so empowered that I'm basically my own boss. I mean, I have people I answer to, but those are my clients. Those are the people I work for, all right? But I'm doing a job that they can't do, and that's what they pay me for, because I do my job better than they can, or better than anybody else that they feel that they know. And they trust me. The other thing is you've got to earn trust. Just like in a job relationship, your loving relationship is based on trust and honesty. All right? So unless you have trust and honesty, I would not be seeing that person. If you don't trust the person you're with, why be around them? That includes friends. If I don't trust somebody, I'm not going to invite them in my home. I don't want to hang around them. Because I don't know what they're going to do. They're unpredictable to me. And see, people are like, you're a control freak, or you've got to, have control of situations and stuff. You know what? I make smart decisions. And because I make smart decisions, I like to stay in control of who I associate with, what I do with my life, and how I want to present myself to other people so that they trust me and identify with me as being a good person that they want to be friends with. It's not that hard. If you have a friend that's doing drugs, guess what? They're not your friend. Now, if they've been a friend for years and years and years and they started using drugs, that didn't come from you. That came from somebody else because you don't do drugs, right? So all you can do is support them. But the deeper and deeper they get, the further and further away you're going to have to push them, because you don't want to get sucked into their bullshit. You don't want to get sucked into, oh, dude, I just spent all my money and I can't, can I come stay at your house? Well, what happened to your apartment? I lost my apartment. Why did you lose your apartment? Because I spent too much money on drugs. All right, you know what? I have kids in my house. You're a drug-addicted person. I care about you, but you're going to need to figure this out. I will help you get to where you need to go. I will drop you off at a shelter. I will drop you off at the substance abuse center so you can get help. Check yourself into rehab, which costs money. So, I mean, you're going to have to rely on somebody if you don't have a job, or if you know this or that. What's the alternative? Breaking into houses and stealing other people's stuff so you can satisfy your drug addiction? Why would you ever want to put yourself in that situation? Why would you ever want to have to depend on crime to exist when you don't have to? It's a conscious decision. Well, I'm addicted. You know what? So what? Then get the help that you need. Find the answers. You're not stupid. You're just acting dumb. There's a big difference. All right? Nobody has to be stupid. All right? But everybody can be smart. They just have to take the time to train themselves. Just like if you are in shape and you like to work out and stuff like that. Your mind's the same thing. Basically, your mind is like a muscle. Your mind can do things that your body can't do on its own because it controls your body. So if you have a clear thought process and you're building yourself up and you take that willpower and you put it towards yourself, I mean, that's the answer to everything right there, is to be balanced in life, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. If you have something that's out of whack, then it's going to put more pressure on the other two. So you try to live as balanced as possible, people, and that's all I'm really trying to say. And, and finding that balance with somebody else. And, in Chinese thoughts, or the Buddhist religion, there's a thing called yin-yang, okay, which are these two intertwined circles, basically. They look like two fish that are wrapped together, or tadpoles, or whatever. I'm sure you've seen a yin-yang symbol. All right, that itself, the symbol, relates to unity, but it also relates to infinity. If you look at the two circles and how they're intertwined, it's an infinite loop. All right, it constantly is moving. The energy has to be there. Now, if one of them's off kilter, it's going to screw up the balance of everything. So, finding that person and taking the time to enjoy the relationship and see where it takes you. Don't lead with your heart. I know it's so easy to do. Oh, I love her, I love her, I love her. And oh, I hate her, I hate her, I hate her. You know what? That's your heart talking, okay? Your mind has to get involved, all right? Your stomach has to get involved, your core. If you feel bad, like being around somebody, it just makes you, like, your skin crawl, you feel sick, guess what? You're probably right that person's not a good fit for you, all right? But if you get the little butterflies, and every time you see this person, or you hear this person's voice on the phone, it lifts you up and makes you feel better, that's the type of person you need to have in your life, all right? But they have to meet those other requirements. They can't be the drug-addicted person that you're trying to save. They need to be on equal terms with you, both spiritually, mentally, and physically. So anyway, I've ranted enough. I feel like blackout. Blackout. Twice. That's because I spend too much gabbing and I don't sit there and move the mouse around enough. Look. I really want you guys to understand something, that I'm not sitting here trying to preach to you. I'm not on a soapbox. This is just my thoughts that I'm trying to get out. This is my therapy. This is my way that I emote to people now, and it makes me feel better that I'm able to take a little bit of what I've learned, all right, which is very insignificant compared to a lot of other people out there. The professionals and the treatment centers and stuff. They have professionals there. I'm just here as a sounding board. I'm here to let you know that you're not alone, okay? That I may not have all the answers, but you know what? I know how to find them, and I know how to use them once I find them. That's the key to life. Don't just sit back on your laurels and not do something that you think you can do. If you're really passionate about something, all right, and people can see that, it builds a bond. All right? So build your own bond with yourself. Take yourself aside from everybody else and say, I'm this type of person. This is how I live because I wish to live this way. Nobody makes you do anything that you don't want to do. All right? Now, they may make suggestions and they may want you to do certain things, but like in a job, I may not want to do this job, but you know what? My job is to do this because I chose to be in that profession. That one day I may be having a bad day and I don't want to do it. But you know what? That's not how you get paid. You have to struggle through your adversity and make your honest effort to try to complete the task at hand so that you can become sufficiently monetized to support yourself. That's just another weight off your back. If you do the best you can, that's all you can do. Now, if you suck at the job, maybe you should think about finding another job. Or if you're great at the job, push yourself to new heights. Go for that, that brass ring. Become the boss, just like I did. So, anyway, people, I really appreciate you guys, for everybody that takes the time to listen to these videos. I know this one's a little longer. Well, it's probably on average 23 minutes in. YouTube, thank you so much for this opportunity. TGN, thank you for the support. Visa, thank you for the support. Everybody that is out there watching all the different things that I'm doing, please tell your friends if they want to come on board. Trolls, keep trolling. Lovers, keep loving. And everybody else, this has been Bigg Nate, just spouting off shit. But you know what? I think it means something, and I hope it means something to you. This is Bigg Nate. Peace out.